From the combined crew of blindandroidusers.com and accessibleandroid.com, it's time for your favorite Android podcast. Kick back now and enjoy another fine episode from these fanboys and gals as they navigate Android from a blindness perspective. And now, here's your crew.
Hello and welcome to episode 190 of the Blind Android Users podcast. I'm Ed Green and I'm here with my co-hosts Warren Carr, John Dyer, Sally Kunders and Kirin Kawan. And we're coming to you on Saturday, the 27th of July, 2024. After our announcements section, the bulk of this episode is going to be handed over to our app Bonanza, where we have a range of different apps to bring you this quarter. Well, I'm coming to you from a very sticky, humid London, although it's got slightly better than it was at the middle of the week. It's a bit sunnier. John, how are you? We missed you last week.
Thanks. I was partying it up at a 3-year-old's birthday party, my niece. So, yeah, but I missed you guys too a little bit. The weather here has been good. It's actually not humid for once, which is rare for my area of Virginia, but it's been nice. It rained a lot a few days ago, but now it's clear again.
Excellent. And that saying we missed you was more for like form and politeness than veracity, just to be clear. But
I understand, and I returned the sentiment. Yeah,
you were more honest there. You said you missed us a little bit.
That's true. That was the informal.
I just don't know what that was all about. I thought that he would be pining for us, and kind of hurts my feelings a little bit. But there's John.
It's John. He's still waiting on that upgrade from dire to average, and it's not come through. So he's getting embittered in his old age. Warren, Warren, how are you?
I'm doing well. So we kind of have a better weather. The last couple of days have not been, because I tell you, this has been a crazy July. We've been like mainly in the 90s and all of that. And I think, like I mentioned earlier on, we had a couple of days that were 104 and 105. And so going back down to the 90s was a welcome thing. But this week, we've had some nice days. And I think we were like even 80 degrees or whatever. The good thing is that, by night, like on Thursday morning, it fell down to like 47 degrees. And then yesterday we were back to like 80 degrees. And today we're going to be maybe like 85, 86. Right now it's 65 degrees. Not bad.
Nice. And how about you, Sally? Is it hot where you are?
I don't know what to say because yesterday it was so hot, like 35 degrees, and now it's 27. Like for better to say, it's 78 degrees right now. It's crazy. I don't know what to say and what to wear right now. This is going crazy.
How about you, Kirin?
I'm well. Everything is good here. Actually, today we were having clouds. It was a cloudy weather, and the weather was moderate. It wasn't hot. It was good. Yeah, it was a good day in the hot weather days. Actually, I hope that we will be getting more and more of those cloudy days. Yeah, it was good.
Karin, was it iCloud or Google Cloud?
Google Cloud for sure.
I like the cloud.
Yeah.
And now, the announcement segment. This is a segment dedicated to things we want you to be in the know. And now for this week's episode, here's your announcements.
Now we have our announcement section. And Sally, I think we have a celebratory one from you.
Well, I'm so happy to celebrate. The July 25th was the first anniversary of AccessibleAndroid.com. Well, I cannot believe how time flies. It really flies so high. I remember the initial days when we started, and it's already 1 year. I'd like to take the time to thank everyone who contributed, even you yourself, everyone in this podcast, and everyone listening to us. Just want to appreciate what you guys did for us and for the community. This is a great resource for the community, and we want to make it even grow. way, way bigger to reach out to each and every blind Android user all over the world. So we got enough reasons to celebrate. Corinne, you have something to say?
I want to say happy birthday, a big happy birthday, Accessible Android. I'm so glad, really, and excited to be a part of this project. Well, I hope that we were able to contribute to fill the gap in the Android accessibility stuff, and that we were able to present some valuable content. And I hope that we will be able to continue, and that we will be always able to present good, valuable stuff, and that we will be always supported by the community, because it's a project that is for the community and that grows by the community itself.
Don't call me selfish, but I was always dreaming of something like this when I was like younger. I was looking at the website, where are the Android resources when I was a beginner on Android. I didn't find much materials, but look at that. I'm one of the co-founders of this website, and this is crazy.
Well, let me say something here. Actually, you are the founder of this project, and the idea was yours. So whatever we do, I'm not talking about me only, I'm talking about everyone else that is in the team or who will join the team in the future, or who will contribute. Actually, the one who started the whole idea, who materialized all of this is you. So kudos to what you did, really.
I appreciate it.
Here's the trouble, guys. The whole idea, when we talk about communities, we're talking about communities. It means that everyone contributes. And really, we need people to step up to the plate and, write those materials. And that's how we're going to make these things grow. It's just like our podcast, when we ask you guys to send in demonstrations and all of that. We want that part of that community to be part of the ball game. And so help us build these things up.
I didn't say that a lot during the episodes of the podcast, but you guys, if you have anything to share, any feedback, any content, any tip that you have about Android, or anything just you want to say, even if you want to say hi, just send an email to info@accessibleandroid.com.
Yeah, and it is a site really valued by our listeners, some of whom, even though you're in the groups, some people who want Android resources learn better from written stuff. So it's great that Accessible Android exists to complement the podcast, which I think it does really well.
Welcome to the Spotlight segment. This is a segment dedicated to interviews with developers or interesting happenings in the world of Android. And now for this week's episode, here's your Spotlight.
Let's now turn to our Spotlight section, which is, of course, this quarter at Bonanza. First of all, Warren is going to bring us a demonstration of the podcast and radio app, Audials Play. Hi.
For the third quarter app Bonanza 2024, I'll be demonstrating Audials Play. That's Audials Play. I really like this app because of two reasons. It's both a podcast client, and also it has a built-in radio, and more so, it allows you to be able to record. And that's what I look for in a radio client. So this is a great app without any ads, and it's a great app. I'll be demonstrating that today on my Galaxy S23 Plus. I am on the home page, that is on the play page of Audials, and I will tap on the About so you could hear the description, and afterward we'll go into the app and explore what we can find. Here's that description. I'll now tap on About.
About this app, heading. Google Play Store, Audials Play, radio and podcasts, details, out of list. All in one player, recorder with countless radios from US and abroad, no ads. Why use Audials Play? Listen to 36,000 US online radio stations. A total of 100,000 web radio stations in MP3 and AAC format, and 260,000 podcasts, sorted by country and genre. Record radio programs and individual songs. On air. See what's currently playing, even before tuning in. Find online radios that play your favorite artist right now. Loads of useful extras. Chromecast, clock radio, sleep timer, equalizer. Hundreds of thousands of online radios and podcasts. From Al to WY and around the world. 106.7 Light FM, 181 FM, ABC, The Beat LA, Beatles Radio, Black Gospel Network, Radio Caribe, Christian Pirate Radio, Fresh FM, Hard Radio, The Joy, KEXP 90.3, KISS 102.7, KISS FM, KNKX, Cost 103.5, KTU, Now FM, Onda Cero, Underground Radio, Virtual DJ, Vision 2000, WAQX, WCBS FM, WPLJ, WUCF 89.9, Z100 Audials Play knows them all. A wide variety of music genres. Whether you like pop, rock, gospel, country, hip-hop, R&B, or jazz, the Audials Play radio app has you covered. Choose between 120 genres. Listen to podcasts and record podcasts. Thousands of audio and video podcasts on topics such as news, sports, technology or business offer you additional information and entertainment. A simple and efficient search function helps you find your internet radio stations and podcasts. The database is regularly updated by our music department. Record radio to listen to it later. Audials Play records entire broadcasts on demand, or saves the stream with automatic song separation. You can play the music or broadcast again later, even when you are offline. Ad-free internet radio app, no in-app purchases. Audials Play marks radio stations that often play ads with an ads flag. Audials Play does not display any banner ads in the app, nor does it play commercials. However, some broadcasters earn money by playing radio advertising. Through advertising services, English advertising sometimes even runs on foreign language channels. Useful extras. Choose a music genre and record up to 20 radio stations parallelly. Schedule recordings. Chromecast. Play radio and music wirelessly on your stereo system, on your Android TV, or on your network speaker that support Chromecast. Equalizer. Improve the sound of your headphones. Clock radio. Sleep timer. Android Auto. Curious. Audials Play, previously known as Audials Radio Free, is your #1 radio player and radio recorder. Just download and install. Have fun with Audials Play, smiley face. Questions, feedback, problems. We've got you covered. Send us a request at https:/support.audials.com.
And that's the description of Audials Play. I'll go back to the main page.
Play Store. About this app. Heading.
I'll scroll back to top.
Write a review. Button in list.
I already have this one installed, and I'm going to tap on the open and we'll get started. I have actually even chosen some favorite stations and things like that. So I'll tap on open.
Open button. Audials Play.
I am now in the main UI of the app, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe that by default, I am on the Home tab. However, on the very top, we heard Audials. Now, if I move my finger to the right,
Search.
There's a search, and to the right edge of the phone
Options.
is options. That's all that we have. Now, below that, though, will be some of the items that I've added to my favorites. That's in the main UI. That's on the Home tab. There are some tabs at the bottom. Let's look at the tabs, though, before we even look at what we have. At the bottom left, we've got
Selected. Home tab. 1 of 5. In list. 5 items.
There's that Home tab moving to the right.
Radio. Tab. 2 of 5.
Radio, going right.
Podcast. Tab. 3 of 5.
Moving right.
Music. Tab. 4 of 5.
And the last tab on the right edge of the phone.
Wishes. Tab. 5 of 5.
We've got the wishes. Let's go back, though, near the top and see what we have below the title of the app.
Stay informed about recordings or alarms in the notifications drawer. Out of list.
Okay, moving down.
Close.
And there's a close there to the right of it. I tap here
Audials.
and moving my finger down again.
Last played. Show all.
And we heard last played, show all. Moving down.
Favorite. Newsmax. Mixed news talk. Column 1.
That's one of the items that I was
Favorite.
listening to.
Newsmax.
And
Commands. Button. Column 1. Commands. Button. Column 1.
then below that, there's a commands. In other words, you could tap here and go do things like scheduling, or if you like, you could simply long press on the station in question.
Commands.
And you
Button.
could also
Column 1.
find a way to schedule things
Commands.
and all of that.
Button. Column 1.
Now, the one thing that I don't like, though, is that it seems like it's refreshing, so it keeps saying that if you leave it
Commands.
sitting there.
Button. Column 1.
Now, let's move on back to the top right
Options. Out of grid.
and tap on Options.
Pop-up window. Close. Button.
We're sitting on the Close button there on the top right. And moving down,
Warcare. Manage account.
that is my email address there.
Alarm clock.
Moving down,
Scheduled recordings.
Schedule recordings. We'll come back to this one quickly, but let's go ahead and see what other items we have here. Next,
Sleep timer.
next,
Equalizer.
next,
Share app.
next,
Simple mode.
next.
Settings.
We got the settings. We'll also be taking a look at the settings. Next,
Chromecast.
next,
Cast. Disconnected.
next,
Local device.
next,
Manage favorites.
next,
Exit audials.
and
Sync your music, record radio and watch TV now. It's free. Learn more.
in other words, if you tap here, it'll take you to where you could download an additional software. You could sync stuff with your computer or whatever and things like that. That's not the focus right now, though. Let's go back up, though, to that settings and dive into settings.
Settings.
Here's settings.
Audials play. Settings.
I am in the settings now, and we'll move through this and see the items contained here in the settings.
Home screen. Heading. In list.
Next,
Configure.
you could tap here to configure. Next,
Radio. Heading.
we come across the radio heading. Next,
Stream quality.
you can go in there and choose your stream quality that you would prefer. Next,
Ads. Marker.
ads and marker. Next,
Show banned stations. Banned stations are hidden by default and can only be accessed under radio greater than banned stations. Toggle on if you have issues finding stations. Off. Switch.
in other words, you can decide to ban stations. And so when you ban those stations and you want to see those stations, you could turn this off so you could see what stations you have banned. Next,
Add new station.
you could add your own new station. Next,
Podcast. Heading.
we now come to the podcast heading, and below that,
Podcast languages.
go in here and choose your language. Next,
Playback. Heading.
playback heading, and below that,
Wi-Fi only. Radio stops when Wi-Fi is lost. Off. Switch.
in other words, if you don't want it to use your mobile data, you could turn this on so it can only work on Wi-Fi once you are in a Wi-Fi zone. Next,
Resume playback on app startup. Off. Switch.
next,
Autoplay next podcast episode in display order.
next,
Dynamic player background. On. Switch.
next.
Recording and music library. Heading.
We come to the recording and music library. Next.
Storage and folders.
So you could go in here and choose your storage. I think that's what this is. Next.
Duplicates from mass recording.
Next.
Save songs while playing. Switch off to save battery, e.g. with Chromecast. On. Switch.
Next.
Look and feel. Heading.
We come to the look and feel, and below that,
Color scheme, dark.
You could change the color scheme. You want light or dark mode. This is where you go.
Layout size, normal.
You could go in here and change how you want the layout to be. Next.
Simple mode item style, list.
Next.
Device configuration. To continue playing and recording in the background, please allow in system settings that Audials uses battery and data, heading.
Next.
Battery usage. The system can stop playback and recording to save battery.
You could tap in here and go change how that behavior should be. Next.
Background data usage, allowed.
Next.
Audials, heading.
And next.
Account, signed in as Warcare.
Next.
Help and about, support and info about app, legal, privacy.
Next.
Get free PC version.
And that's the last item. I'll now go back.
Audials play, options, out of list.
It took me back into the main UI, but I want to show you how you go about scheduling a recording. You could go from here to the options and find how you do that recording scheduling, or you could long press a station and choose the schedule.
Newsmax, mixed news talk, column 1.
So I could tap on the commands below that, or could just long press it.
Newsmax, mixed news talk, show, out of grid.
And we got
Play, button.
We've got play.
Share, button. My favorites, in list. New. Record songs, out of list.
There's the recording.
Record show.
Record show.
New schedule.
New schedule.
Set alarm clock.
Next.
Open website.
Next.
Share.
There's another share.
Band station.
Oh, you could ban the station. And that's the last one. Let's go ahead though and show you how you schedule that recording before we bring this to a close.
New schedule.
I'll tap on New Schedule.
Audials play. Scheduled recordings.
I am now in the scheduling page and putting my finger down.
Scheduled recordings.
Move down.
Back. Newsmax.
It tells me the name of the station. Moving on down.
Record show.
There's a record show.
Next recording. July 26, 2024, 12 p.m. to 12:05 p.m.
Next.
Time.
We have time.
12 p.m.
It's 12 p.m. Next.
Duration.
The duration.
0:05.
05.
July 26, 2024.
That's the calendar area.
Pick date. Button. Detected.
Can pick your
Icon.
date.
Calendar.
So first, I'm going to pick the date first. And it doesn't matter which order you go by. You could go pick the time first and all of that. But I'll tap on the date first.
Thursday, July 25th, 2024. 2024.
And I am doing this demonstration on a Thursday. And so it's the 25th. I'm going to choose a different date.
The 31st of July 2024.
I'm going to choose the 31st of July.
Wednesday, July 31st, 2024. Selected.
And at the bottom, we've got cancel and OK at the very right edge.
OK. Button. Audials play. Detected. Icon. Calendar. Button.
And if I move my finger left.
July 31st, 2024.
All right, now I'm going to move up toward the top and choose the time and the duration.
Next recording. July 31st, 2024, 12 p.m. to 12:05 p.m.
And I'm going to change that.
12 p.m.
I move my finger down to where it says the time and I tap.
12 o'clock select hours. 12.
I am now in the clock area. And this is like a European style. For some reason, I didn't see a 12-hour, so it's a 24-hour system here. So, for example, if I want my recording to be on July 31st at 5 p.m., I'll find the 17-hour.
13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
There's 17 hours, and which corresponds with 5 p.m. local time.
17.
I have chosen that 5 o'clock, which is 17 hours. Next, I tap OK.
OK. Button. Audials play. 5 p.m.
And now it says 5 p.m. because it recognizes that I'm in a country that uses a 12-hour, even though it doesn't have an option there for me. Now, let's move on next.
Duration.
And we come to the duration.
0:05.
And we tap here.
Hours. 23. Button.
We landed on the hour, and that's a 23 hours. And if we don't do anything, we don't want to change anything with the hours. We don't want it to record for an hour or anything. So by default, it'll be 0 hours.
0. Edit box.
And below that 0 hours, if I move my finger down,
1. Button.
if I wanted to record for an hour, I could just tap there. Now moving to the right,
Min.
I got the minutes. Moving right,
4. Button.
I got 4. Now, one interesting thing that I noticed is that if you want to just long press this and just scroll your finger up or down, it will just scroll you through the minutes. So, for example, if I want to move to, say, 15 minutes or whatever for the duration, I could just tap there and long press and move my finger up or down to change it.
56. Button.
I scroll all the way down to 56. So in other words, I'll be recording for 56 minutes. If I want to change it, I could just move right or long press on it again and scroll up to decrease.
57. Edit box.
And you could tap there to change it manually. Then moving to the right
58. Button.
and moving right,
Cancel. Button.
we got cancel
Set. Button.
or set.
Audials play. 0:57.
Okay, moving.
July 31st, 2024. Save. Button.
And at the bottom is a save button. That's how you go about scheduling something in Audials. I hope that you like this app, and I'm really liking it. Thanks for listening.
Next, we now have another app from Warren, which allows you to create disposable email addresses to sign up to all those pesky newsletters you might not want to be bothered with for too long, or to give people who need your address but you might not know too well. And that app is Instant Address.
As we continue with our third quarter app Bonanza 2024, I'll be demonstrating yet another app called Instant Address. Once it's installed, though, the shortcut becomes INSTADDR. I am on the web page of Instant Address, that is the play page of Instant Address, and for this demonstration, I'll be using the TTS engine from the developer we interviewed on July the 20th. I'm talking about Olga. As I said, I'm on the home page of Instant Address, and I'll now navigate to the description of the app. And then once we heard the description, then I'll take you through the app. Let's now tap on the About.
About this app, heading.
And tap.
Google Play Store, Instader, details. The app enables you to create disposable email addresses. The sophisticated app enables you to create disposable email addresses for free just by activating it. Your account simultaneously maintains multiple email addresses which you can utilize for different purposes. As the service does not have an expiry date, the addresses can be used permanently. There is a website requiring email authentication to sign up, but I don't want to receive spam messages and newsletters. Someone I'm not very close asked for my email address. I need a dedicated contact email address and web form for our event. There are people I'm not that close but want to keep in touch. The app perfectly caters for all these needs. The app's features are as follows. Asterisk, you can simultaneously own as many email addresses as you like. You can create additional email addresses anytime you like in just a second without making any changes to the existing address. You can either use characters of your choice for the address or have the app to generate short addresses. The app, enhanced with our proprietary technology, is also able to automatically generate easily memorable addresses. Asterisk, you can communicate with the address, write new messages, reply, forward, and share. You can send out messages from the created address and attach files. The addresses also support latest features such as SPF, sender authentication, encrypted delivery, etc. Asterisk, push notification is available. The app notifies the arrival of new messages even when the app is turned off. It can also send out notifications to other smartphones and PCs. You can turn the push notification off or turn it on only for specified addresses. Asterisk, permanent email addresses. The addresses you create will function permanently unless you delete them. Even if you change your mobile or delete the app, the addresses remain intact and can be restored as soon as you sign in. Although sent and received messages are automatically deleted after a month, you can permanently save them by selecting protection mode for them. Asterisk, you can sync with PC and other smartphones. You can use the same address on PC, Android, Kindle Fire, and iPhone/iPod/iPad and sync messages. No difficult setup is required. You only have to sign in with the automatically generated ID and password. Asterisk, app supports HTML mails and mail attachments. The app accepts messages in any formats in any languages. You can also receive emoji and deco mails. You can send and receive mail attachments while the system blocks malware attachments. Asterisk, perfectly functionable mailer. You no longer need other email apps as all functions, e.g., inbox, sent box, filter, mail blocking function, etc., come as a package. You can open the service as a regular mailer from a browser, etc. Asterisk, full of original features not available in other mailer apps. You can share messages with friends as a website with a URL, assign email addresses to other people, and create web forms. More users are using the app to create dedicated contact email address for campaigns and events.
And that's the description of the Insta Adder. It's a great app. I am using it. I have it on my other device. However, I'm going to be installing it on this device for the very first time. I'll now go back though to the main page so we could tap on that install and get started.
Play Store. About this app. Heading.
And now I'll scroll back to top and tap on Install.
Install. Button. Cancel. Installer. Open. Button.
And we're now on the Open. I'll tap to open.
Initialize. Progress. Progress bar. In progress. Installer. Config. Button. Allow Installer to send you notifications. Allow. Button.
We have the notification and we could either choose to allow or not allow. It's totally up to you. You guys know me. I'm notorious for not liking notifications. But for this demonstration, however, I'm going to allow it.
Installer. Config. Button.
We heard config, and that button is toward the right edge of the phone. In other words, there are two buttons there. There's one to the very right top edge, and that is the reload, and to the left of it is that config, and we're sitting on that config. To the right of it,
Reload. Button.
reload. Now below this, starting from the left, we have some tabs. And I do want to mention that these tabs are not necessarily labeled, and so TalkBack here is doing the heavy lifting. Starting from the left and going right, here are the tabs that we find.
Tab. Selected. 1 of 4. In list. 4 items. Detected. Image icon on a black background.
That just tells us basically nothing, but I deduce that this is the home. Moving right.
Tab. 2 of 4. Detected. Icon. Mail. Image. The logo of the letter.
Moving right.
Tab. 3 of 4. Detected. Icon. Mail. Image. The logo of the logo.
That also says mail and moving right.
Tab 4 of 4. Detected. Icon edit.image logo design for a company.
Let's take a look at some of these things and see what they do, though. I'll start, though, by tapping on that first one on the left. That's the one that simply says image and not much to write home about.
Tab selected.
I
Detected.
tap,
Selected.
and of course, that's the one that's selected by default. And of course, this is where it probably will take us through the setup process and all of that. To the right,
Tab 2 of 4. Detected. Icon mail.image the logo of the letter.
and that says the logo of a letter. I tap.
Selected.
Tapping on that, here's the information we got.
No received mail.
So this button is supposed to be received mail or could be inbox. Now let's tap on the third button.
Tab 3 of 4. In list 4 items. Detected. Image logo design for the shop.
Tap,
Selected.
and here's the information we got.
No sent mail.
So that would be like your sent mail folder. Now let's tap on the last tab there on right.
Tab 4 of 4. In list 4 items. Detected. Icon edit.image logo design for the shop.
And I tap,
Selected.
and putting my finger down to hear some of the information.
Sender.
It says sender, and moving down,
Gagdim vinet cream.pink. Button.
basically giving me some information or maybe examples, and it says a button,
Recipient. Edit box.
and then recipient. So basically, this is like the composition tab. All right, I'm going to go back though to the first button. That's the first tab. That's the home, and show you how you get started on creating an account.
Tab. Detected. Icon. Person.image. White eye.
And I tap,
Selected.
and moving my finger down,
Add a mail address.
we hear add email address. And moving down,
Q. Graphic.
moving down.
Create an address automatically. Button.
So there's a create address automatically. If you wanted to auto-generate an email address for you, you could tap there to create your address. However, below here are some options on further customizing what you would like your email address to be and as to what domain that would be. Moving down,
Designate an address. Button.
moving down,
Create an address with expiration. Button.
next,
Or. New domains with the new mark. Link.
next,
A try.
next,
You can recover your account by setting up a recovery email address in case of access denial. Link.
next,
Your email address. Q. Graphic.
next.
Edit box. Search.
Or you could
Detected.
search.
Icon. Search. Image. Animation of text. Button.
Next, next.
Space. Button.
All that is advertisement
Button.
at the bottom there. Let's go ahead though and choose the one where we could create our own email address, and thus choosing as to what kind of domain we would like our email to be on. And now if we want to create our own email address, what we need to tap on is the one that says
New domains with the new mark. Link.
that's what we want, and tap here. We are now on a page where we could choose a username and then choose from the domains and all of that. Here's what I'm talking about.
Edit box. Enter an account name of your choice. Detected. Image. Text. Description accuracy. Low. Text and
And here I'm going to type in something.
showing English us court.
So for example, let's say I want to choose an email address that says Dog on Farm. DOG F-A-R-M. I'll just dictate that.
Add a mail address. Use assistant voice typing.
Dog on farm.
Voice typing stopped. Use assistant voice typing.
Okay, I'll double check that and make sure it's all one word.
Add a mail address. Create an address. Dog on farm. Edit box. Editing. Enter an account name of your choice.
I'm going to check that. So I'm going to change to the character mode.
Actions. Move cursor to beginning. Beginning of field. Characters. D. O. G. Space.
Uh-huh.
O.
So I'm going to erase that space.
O. Delete. Space deleted. Dogan Farm. Space. F.
And
F.
hit delete.
Delete. Space deleted.
Now I should have dog on farm as one word.
Dogan Farm. Edit box. Editing. And
now that I have dog on farm, I will now choose my domain. And below here, we have a bunch of domains we can choose from. Here's what I'm talking about.
at fawamafu.com. Button.
If I tap here,
Instader. WebView.
it will give me more domains to choose from. And here's what we got. Some of these I'll just go through quickly, and you can just go through these at your own leisure. We've got
at catgrowup.uk. at goatmail.uk. at goatmail.uk. at sendno.win.
at sendnow.win. That's the one I've chosen for my domain.
At sendno.win. Radio. at kmail.uk. at kmail.uk.
And you can scroll down. There's a bunch of them here to choose from, so it's totally up to you.
At bangban.uk.
So let's say I want to choose this one.
Dogan Farm. Edit box. Enter an account name of your choice.
And
At bangban.uk new. Button.
that's my domain there. So if I want to change it, if I decided, no, I don't want that one, then I tap here. And then it takes me back to where I could choose from the
At
list again.
kmail.uk.
You got it? So let's say I tap here.
At kmail.uk. Button.
And now,
An email address, doganfarm at kmail.uk has been created.
there we go. My email has been created.
Copy email address. Button.
I could copy the email address.
Create new message. Button.
I could create a new message.
Add another name to the address. Button.
Next.
Show QR code. Button.
Next.
Generate random password. Button.
And now I could create a password for it.
Close. Button.
Or I could close it. And now you have an idea of how to create your instant address, so you're not giving people your addresses out there and getting spam all the time. Thanks for listening.
And now it's John, and if you are in the right part of the world listening in the evening, you may well have the lunchies. You might be hungry. So it's time for the pizza app, Little Caesars.
Hi. Today I have something a little different planned for you. I'm going to be demonstrating a food app, which I have not done in the past. And this is for Little Caesars Pizza. So if you have a Little Caesars available in your country or region, and especially if you have one nearby you, then you might find this demonstration helpful. If not, feel free to pass on it. Every once in a while I'll come by a new app that I realize has been designed with accessibility in mind, which is rare. And I just wanted to highlight it because of that reason, basically. So I'm just going to show you how to place an order in the Little Caesars app. Open Little Caesars.
Opening. Little Caesars. Little Caesars. Open options menu. Button.
So here we are in the app. There's an options menu. I have not signed in or anything yet, but this options menu is to the top left, and it's sort of like a navigation menu.
Options menu open. Heading 1 of 6. In list 6 items.
This is what we have here.
Hi guest. Button.
I'm a guest because I'm not signed in.
My account 2 of 6. Orders, 3 of 6. Find a restaurant, 4 of 6. Today's deals, 5 of 6. Challenges, 6 of 6.
So those are all of the things that it offers. I'm just going to back out of this menu and go straight to placing an order.
Open options menu, button, out of list.
I'll show you the next, so I'm going to swipe right.
Today's deals, button.
Today's deals, I believe this is near the top right of the screen, but if I keep swiping.
Start new order, button.
Start new order.
Reorder, button.
Reorder.
Login, button. Join, button.
And then at the bottom, there's login or join, which means create an account. I'm going to go back to place an order.
Start new order, button.
And I'm going to double tap.
Pickup, button.
We have 2 options.
Delivery, button.
I'm going to choose delivery.
Little Caesars, navigate up, button.
And now we have...
Delivery address, heading.
It's asking for our address.
Enter delivery address. Delivery address form field.
I'm going to keep
X
swiping.
1234 Main Street, Pizzatown, Michigan 48201. Edit box.
This is the edit box. I'm going to double tap.
Showing Braille keyboard, Unified English Braille. Swipe up with 3 fingers for more options.
And now I'm on the next page.
Map marker. Delivery instructions, heading. Apartment, suite, or lot number. Edit box.
Here's where you can add your apartment number if you have one.
Selected. Hand it to me. Radio button, 1 of 2. Enlist 2 items.
You can decide if you want to be antisocial or not.
Not selected. No contact. Leave at my door. Radio button, 2 of 2.
This is usually what I do if I have the option.
Selected.
I don't want to have to talk to anybody if I don't have to.
Additional instructions. Edit box, out of list.
And you can add additional instructions if you want to.
Save button.
When you hit save, it'll take you to where you can start your order.
Google Map.
So now it took me to the next page where...
Change delivery address button.
It just has your address where you can confirm or change it, and then...
Selected. ASAP. We'll get it to you as soon as possible. Radio button, 1 of 2. Enlist 2 items.
You could choose if you want it now or if you want to schedule it for later. So I'm going to double tap on this because I want it now.
Not selected. Later. Up to 7 days in advance. Radio button, 2 of 2.
I'm going to pass by this.
Start delivery order. Button, out of list.
I'm going to hit start order.
Little Caesars. $7.99 thin crust. Hot and ready for to 8 p.m. Large pepperoni, plus tax where applicable. Available at participating locations. Prices may vary. Prices higher in HI and third-party online sites. Button, enlist.
So, of course, you're going to have advertisements and specials and that sort of thing on the screen, but I'm going to swipe to see what else we have.
Create your own pizza. Heading.
Here's where we can create our own pizza. I'm going to swipe again.
Create your own pizza. Button.
That's the button. Let's see what else we have.
Limited time offer. Heading.
So we have offers.
Thin crust pepperoni. $7.99. Thin crust cheese. $7.99.
And so on, but I'm just going to go back to create my own pizza.
Thin crust. Limited. Create your own pizza. Button.
I'm going to hit this.
Custom pizza builder. Page. Round. In pager.
So, as you heard, it said round in pager, so I'm guessing that's the pizza type.
Move right. Button. Out of pager.
If I hit the move right button,
Thin crust. Page to a 4.
it changes, as you heard, to thin crust, and apparently I have 4 options, so I'm going to see what the other 2 are.
Stuffed crust round. Page 3 of 4. Detroit style deep dish. Move left. Button. Page 4 of 4.
So I'm guessing Detroit style is not round. Maybe it's a square, because it's the only one that didn't say round. So I'm going to go back to stuffed crust.
Stuffed crust round. Page 3 of 4.
And now I'm going to continue swiping.
Page. Stuffed crust round. In pager. Move right. Button. Out of page. Double tap below for extra toppings.
Now double tap, I think it's just telling the sighted user who's not using a screen reader to tap twice if they want double the toppings.
Regular.
So that does not apply to us.
Extra. Whole. Heading.
These are the column headers.
Left. Heading. Right. Heading. Pepperoni. In list.
Now I've gotten to the list of toppings, and this is where I discovered that they were really focused on making this work for a screen reader because it supports actions. So as you can see, if I swipe right again,
Extra cheese.
it just goes to the next topping. I'm going to swipe back left.
Pepperoni.
And now if I swipe down to go through the actions,
Add whole topping pepperoni.
I can add pepperoni to the whole pizza
Add left topping pepperoni. Add right topping pepperoni.
or choose which side.
Activate.
So what I'm going to do is make this a pizza as if half of it's for me, half of it's for my wife. So it's going to be different. So I'm going to let the right half be mine. I'm going to swipe down.
Add whole topping pepperoni. Add left topping pepperoni. Add right topping pepperoni.
I'm going to double tap here.
Applied pepperoni right regular.
And now you'll see when I swipe down again,
Add whole topping pepperoni. Add left topping pepperoni. Add extra right topping pepperoni.
so the action has changed to add extra because there's already pepperoni on the right side. So I'm going to add extra.
Remove applied pepperoni right extra.
I'm going to swipe right.
Extra cheese.
Yeah, let's do extra cheese on the whole thing.
Add whole topping extra cheese. Applied extra cheese whole regular.
Swipe right again.
Italian sausage.
And the reason I like this approach, although some people might disagree with me, is when you swipe from item to item, you don't have to swipe through all of the options because those are hidden away in the actions. So it'll just take you directly to the next topping. So I'm going to keep going through the toppings until I find something I want to add.
Bacon. Seasoned beef. Smoky ham. Mushrooms.
My wife likes mushrooms, so I'm going to put this on the left side of the pizza.
Add whole topping mushrooms. Add left topping mushrooms. Applied mushrooms left regular.
Next topping.
Onions. Green peppers. Banana peppers. Black olives.
She also likes olives.
Add whole topping black olives. Add left topping black olives. Applied black olives left regular.
I'm going to keep going.
Pineapple.
I like pineapple.
Add whole topping pineapple. Add left topping pineapple. Add right topping pineapple. Applied pineapple right regular.
I'm going to continue.
Jalapeno peppers. Options. Button. Out of list.
And now this options button will give you a pop-up menu.
Pop-up window. Topping graphic view. In list.
You can hit graphic view.
Bake cheese sauce cut.
You can go to these additional options.
Clear toppings.
Or you could clear toppings. I'm going to go to the additional options.
Bake cheese sauce cut. Navigate up. Custom pizza builder. Custom pizza builder. Heading. Out of list. Custom pizza builder.
This takes you to a page you can customize further.
Navigate up. Selected. Normal bake. Radio button. 1 of 2. In list. 2 items.
You can choose if you want it extra
Not selected.
crispy.
Well done. Radio button. 2 of 2. Cheese. Heading. Out of list. Selected. Cheese. Radio button. 1 of 3. In list. 3 items. Not selected. No cheese. Radio button. Not selected. Light cheese. Radio button. 3
So you
of
could
3.
change your
Sauce.
cheese.
Heading. Out of list.
I like extra sauce, so I'm going to change this.
Not selected. Light sauce. Selected. Normal sauce. Not selected. Extra sauce. Selected.
And then when you're done on this screen, you can just back out. And I should be back
Navigate
on
up. Button. Out of list.
the pizza screen with the toppings. Let's see.
Add to cart. Button.
Yeah, at the very bottom, there's an add to cart button. So I'm going to swipe left.
Options. Button.
Yeah, that's the options button we just went to. And after that, there's add to cart.
Add to cart. Button.
So I'm going to do that.
Little Caesars. Little Caesars. Create your own pizza. Button. In list.
And now I'm back on the menu, if you want to call it that. So at the very bottom of the screen is my
View
cart.
cart. Button. Out of list.
I'm going to open it.
Custom stuffed crust round 3,355 cal. 1 in cart for $16.96. Pizza stuffed crust round 2,530 cal. Whole extra cheese 270 cal. Left mushrooms 20 cal. Black olives 140 cal. Right extra pepperoni 350 cal. Pineapple 45 cal. In list.
So there's even the calorie breakdown if you want it. Another thing I wanted to show you is that here in the cart, actions are also supported. So because I'm on the pizza item right now, I can swipe down
Favorite item.
and I can add it to my favorites. So I'm going to do that.
Account required. To set favorites, either log in or create an account. Out of list.
So as you heard, I can't do that because I have not created an account. So if you want to add favorites, obviously you're going to want an account.
OK. Button.
So I'm going to hit OK.
Little Caesars. Custom stuffed crust round.
So let's see what other actions we have here.
Favorite item. Change item quantity.
So you could change if you want more than one.
Remove item from cart.
Obviously remove.
Edit item.
Or edit. This will take you back to the page if you want to change some toppings on there. And if I swipe right,
Subtotal $16.96 before tax and eligible promotions. Out of list. Checkout. Button.
and then there's the checkout button. So this is where you will go to pay for it. I will not go through the actual checkout process, but I have before, and it is accessible, which you should not be surprised by. I think I used Google Pay, so you don't need an account if you don't want to set up an account and give them your credit card. But that brings us to the end of this demo. So if you've stayed and listened this long, you must be a pizza lover, and if that's the case, I hope you give it a shot and enjoy.
And finally, Warren closes us out this app bonanza with another podcast app, AntennaPod.
Hi, as we continue with the third quarter app bonanza, this is demonstrating an app called AntennaPod. I am on the Play Store of the app and would first like to let you hear the description of the app so you can determine as to whether or not this is an app you would like to be associated with. I'll now navigate my way to the About, and then when I'm done, I'll install it, and then we will go through the tour and look at the settings and all that this entails. AntennaPod is an open source app. Here is the About.
About this app, heading. Google Play Store, AntennaPod, details. Easy to use, flexible and open source podcast manager and player. AntennaPod is a podcast manager and player that gives you instant access to millions of free and paid podcasts, from independent podcasters to large publishing houses such as the BBC, NPR and CNN. Add, import and export their feeds hassle-free using the Apple Podcasts database, OPML files or simple RSS URLs. Download, stream or queue episodes and enjoy them the way you like with adjustable playback speeds, chapter support and a sleep timer. Save effort, battery power and mobile data usage with powerful automation controls for downloading episodes, specify times, intervals and Wi-Fi networks, and deleting episodes based on your favorites and delay settings. Made by podcast enthusiasts, AntennaPod is free in all senses of the word. Open source, no costs, no ads. Import, organize and play. Manage playback from anywhere. Home screen widget, system notification and earplug and Bluetooth controls. Add and import feeds via the Apple Podcasts, gpodder.net, FYYD or podcast index directories, OPML files and RSS or Atom links. Enjoy listening your way with adjustable playback speed, chapter support, remembered playback position and an advanced sleep timer, shake to reset, lower volume. Access password protected feeds and episodes. Keep track, share and appreciate. Keep track of the best by marking episodes as favorites. Find that one episode through the playback history or by searching titles and show notes. Share episodes and feeds through advanced social media and email options, the gpodder.net services and via OPML export. Control the system. Take control over automated downloading. Choose feeds, exclude mobile networks, select specific Wi-Fi networks, require the phone to be charging and set times or intervals. Manage storage by setting the amount of cached episodes, smart deletion and selecting your preferred location. Adapt to your environment using the light and dark theme. Back up your subscriptions with the gpodder.net integration and OPML export. Join the AntennaPod community. AntennaPod is under active development by volunteers. You can contribute too, with code or with comment. Our friendly forum members are happy to help with every question you have. You are invited to discuss features and podcasting in general, too. https 2/forum.antennapod.org/. Transifex is the place to help with translations. https://www.transifex.com/antennapod/antennapod.
And that's the description of the app. One thing that strikes me that I like so much is the fact that it's ad-free and open source. As indicated, you can contribute by sending your feedback and all of that if you cannot contribute code-wise. I'll now go back to the page and install it. Let's go ahead.
Play Store. About this app. Heading.
And now I'll scroll back to top and tap on Install.
Install. Button.
There we go.
AntennaPod. 3%. 100%.
It's done installing, and now I'll tap on Open.
Open. Button.
Here's the Open.
AntennaPod. Open menu. Button.
I am now in the menu eye of the app, and the first thing we heard was Menu, and that's on the top left corner. Moving on to the right, let's explore what we have.
Home.
We heard Home. Moving on.
Search. Button.
Moving on.
More options. Button.
And more options there on the top right corner. That's the last button there on the top right corner. Let's move on down toward the bottom and see if we find any buttons or any controls. Moving my finger down.
You are not subscribed to any podcasts yet. Open the side menu to add a podcast.
I am being told that I'm not subscribed to any podcasts as of yet, and that I could tap on the Open menu, which is that button on the top left, to go discover podcasts that I could subscribe to. That's all that we have. Moving my finger down, nothing. Let's go back up though to the top and look at those buttons, especially the More Options and then Menu button on the top left. Let's get started though first by looking at the More Options found near the top right corner of the phone. I'll now tap on More Options.
More Options. Button. Pop-up window. Refresh. In list.
Tapping on More Options, the menu pops up and we've got Refresh. Moving on.
Configure home screen.
We've got the Configure home screen, and that's all we have. Let's go ahead and tap on Configure home screen.
Configure home screen. Sort. Continue listening. In list.
Moving on down.
Sort. See what's new.
Next.
Sort. Get surprised.
Next.
Sort. Check your classics.
Next.
Sort. Manage downloads.
Next.
Hidden.
And we heard Hidden. Next.
Reset. Button. Out of list.
We have a reset button there on left and in the middle.
Cancel. Button.
There's the cancel, and to the right edge
Confirm. Button.
is the confirm. That's all that we have here on this screen. I'll go back.
AntennaPod. More options. Button.
Now let's move on to the menu found on the top left corner. I'll now tap on that menu found on the top left.
Open menu. Button.
Tap.
Settings.
Tapping on the menu, we heard Settings. And I do want to mention here that that settings that we heard is not at the top. Instead, it's at the bottom left corner of the phone. Now, let's start from the top though, and before we get to the settings, let's see what items we have here in the menu. I'm starting from the top.
Selected. Home.
We heard selected Home. Moving on down.
Queue.
That's queue, where you can go check to see what items you have in queue. Next.
Inbox.
Next.
Episodes.
Of course, all of these things explain what they are by just hearing their names. Next.
Subscriptions.
That's where you can check your subscriptions. Next.
Downloads.
Next.
Playback history.
Next.
Add podcast.
Add podcast. This is where you could go in and look at all the different categories, or you could search for your own podcast that you want instead of going through the lists and find out what you would need to subscribe to. That's the last item there in that menu. Let's move on down though to the settings on that bottom left.
Settings. Out of list.
I'll now tap on Settings.
Settings. Navigate up. Button.
We're now on the settings page, and I'll explore downward and look at the items we have in settings. I may not necessarily be going into each and every one of them, except for things that I consider of great importance. Let's get started. Moving on down.
Search. In list.
We heard search. It's like a button there. If you tap on it, it'll open up the search, but to the right of it, you have the search edit field.
Search. Edit box.
Moving on down.
User interface. Appearance. Subscriptions. Lock screen.
Next.
Playback. Headphone controls. Skip intervals. Cue.
In other words, you can go in here and configure how you'd like to interact when you have your headphone and all of that. Next.
Downloads. Update interval. Mobile data. Automatic download. Automatic deletion.
That explains itself. Lots of things in there. Next.
Synchronization. Synchronize with other devices.
In other words, you can go in here and log in to sync with other devices. In other words, if you play something on one device and you want to pick up from another device, once you configure this, then you will be able to do so. I do want to mention here, though, that you will need to go to the gpodder.net. That's GPODDER.net, and then sign up for gpodder, and you should be able to use that login and go in here and then log on to it. Another way of doing it is that you can also configure something on your home server, and they have instructions on how to go about that. gpodder is not necessarily associated with AntennaPod. Moving on.
Import-export. Move subscriptions and queue to another device.
So if you have other subscriptions from some other podcast client that you would like to import, this may even be easier. So all that you need to do is to simply go here and then go choose that XML or PML file, and then you'll be able to get your subscriptions. Next.
Notifications.
We move on to notifications. Next.
Project. Heading.
We're now on a heading called Project. Let's move on.
Documentation and support.
Next.
User forum.
Next.
Contribute.
Next.
Report bug.
Next.
About.
And that's the last item there, the About. I want to go back though to that import/export thing to see how we could import an existing subscription to other podcasts that we have using another client. I believe I do have my Pocket Casts on here, and I should be able to import some of my stuff that I've exported from the Pocket Casts. Let's go back and tap on that feature.
Import-export. Move subscriptions and queue to another device. Import-export. Navigate up. Button. Out of list.
I am on the import/export page, and let's go through see what we have.
Database export. Transfer subscriptions, listened episodes and queue to AntennaPod on another device.
Next.
Automatic database export. Create a backup of the AntennaPod database every 3 days. Only keep the 5 most recent backups. Off. Switch.
Next.
Database import. Import AntennaPod database from another device.
Next.
OPML. Heading.
We now come to that OPML heading, and next.
OPML export. Transfer your subscriptions to another podcast app.
Next.
OPML import. Import your subscriptions from another podcast app.
That's the one I would like to try. But before we do that, let's see what else we have in here.
HTML, heading.
Next,
HTML export, show your subscriptions to a friend.
next,
Favorites export, export saved favorites to file.
and that's the last item here. Let's go back up though and tap on that OPML import.
OPML import, import your subscriptions from another podcast app.
And I'll tap.
Settings, recent, show routes, button, out of list.
I am now in the area where I could import the list of podcast subscriptions that I want. By default, none of these is checked. So you'll have to check the ones that you want, and hopefully maybe if I check one, we could find a menu where we could say select all. Let's see what we have.
Renewing your mind with RC, Sproul,
And I'll tap to check it.
checked.
All right, now let me check near the top of the phone to see if there's a menu where we could tell it to select all.
Select all, button, out of list.
There's a select all there on the top right, and I'll tap,
Deselect all, button.
and that turns into deselect all. Now at the very bottom, we've got a couple buttons,
Cancel, button.
cancel, and to the very right edge of the phone,
Confirm, button.
confirm that indeed I want to import these. I'll tap confirm.
AntennaPod, import podcast list OPML. Subscriptions, out of grid. Agora Podcast Network, column 1. Android developers backstage, row 2, column 3. Blind Android users podcast, row 3.
Those are some of the ones that I have subscribed to. So if I tap here, for example, blind
Back,
Android users,
button, out of grid.
I'm now in the blind Android users podcast area, and putting my finger down, we find,
Blind Android users podcast.
and moving down in the mid section of the phone, just from the top,
Show information, button.
we got show information button. Moving to the right,
Filter, button.
next there's another button,
Show podcast settings, button.
show podcast settings, and those are the buttons that we have. Now below that will be the various episodes. Moving my finger down,
Episode 189, A Visit with Olga from RH Voice, July 20th, 2024, 78 megabytes, duration, 1 hour 21 minutes.
and to the right of that is the download.
Download,
Now that's if you want to download it. Now if I move my finger back,
Episode 189, A Visit with Olga from RH Voice, July 20th, 2024, 78 megabytes, duration, 1 hour 21 minutes.
and I'm going to tap.
Back, button, out of list.
Tapping on that and putting my finger down, we got,
Stream,
there's a stream. Moving to the right,
download.
there's a download. Move my finger down,
Episode 189 RH Voice and Android 15 Beta 4, Heading 1.
and moving down.
Welcome to episode 189.
So basically, that's like the welcome. Those are the show notes.
Announcements, Heading 2.
And we got the announcement section. And
Bullet, 1 of 3, 3 items.
moving down.
Google is banning low-quality apps from the Play. Android Basics, Heading 2.
And we got the Android basics.
Web view.
Scroll down.
Commentary, Kareen demonstrates the Heading 2. Staying in touch, Heading 2.
And that's the last heading there. And that's what it is. Now you know how to manage your AntennaPod. Thanks for listening. All good things must end. Thus, it's curtain drawing time, bringing us to the close of this week's episode. Coming up, though, we give you information on how to get hold of us.
Well, that's it for this week, folks. John, how can people get in touch with us?
To contact us, simply send an email to contactus@blindandroidusers.com. If you'd prefer, you can leave a voicemail by calling +1 307 202 9797. You can join our mailing list by sending a blank email to Blind Android Users plus subscribe @groups.io. You can join our Facebook and Telegram groups or subscribe to our YouTube channel using the links in the podcast show notes or YouTube video description. And you can find all of this information and more at our website, blindandroidusers.com.
Well, thanks very much for listening. Say bye-bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone, and thank you so much for listening, and looking forward to seeing you next week.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Have a good day and have a good week.
And see you next week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Blind Android Users Podcast. Until we see you next week, don't forget to leave us your comments and suggestions via our email contact or using any of our social media sites. Have a great week.